I'm going to use is thermal imaging. So why would I want thermal imaging inside of a ghost hunt?
Because that's how you can see the...
See what?
The spirits.
How so?
The...
Getting closer. Cold spots, folks. Think old school. We're literally looking for cold spots. So ghosts are supposed to make the hair stand up on the back of your neck and that kind of thing? Yeah. So there is an actual science behind that. And that's basically what this guy here is going to measure. Like, this is not just a phone app. Like, this is an actual FLIR Pro 1 camera. What does that mean to you? This is what firemen use to actually help save people. So, yeah, this is an actual thermal imaging camera. We are literally, well, first off, you should be able to see me in there, right?
Yeah.
Red, orange, and yellow guy. Yeah. And this is going to work tonight just because it's all females. That means I'm the hottest thing inside the video, just so you guys know. So, when I have guys on the tour, they all look at me. I'm like, yeah, really? Because you're the only one inside the video. They all have to get defensive. But anyway, it works. We're literally going to be looking for blue and black spots to either take shape or move on their own. So that's the whole point of this particular, thermal imaging camera. There is a blue dot that's bouncing around the screen. So it's going to give you the coldest spot in the frame at that particular moment. And it's going to bounce around the screen all night long. It's just helping to direct our eye when I give you your video back of what to actually look for and what area you should be looking into when that actually occurs.
Okay.
So
they're going to be really cold. Direct you to the pole.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Okay. So Wendy, you're going to hold this horizontal all night long. The camera is going to be on your lower left. You will hold it basically right-handed and keep it horizontal. Okay. The wire side will be on your left-hand side. We are going to do a few starts and stops with this. For as great as the hardware is, the software sucks. Okay. So if we record for too long, you've just covered up the camera.
Oh.
There you go. Everybody does it. No big deal. See? Right-handed. So where was I? Oh,
it's heavy. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it's got an extra battery pack on the back because the camera itself is only designed to be, used for an hour. So I put a battery pack on it so nothing dies. Okay. All right, guys, go have fun. Let me know what happens. No, I'm kidding. Don't go anywhere. So, spirit boxes. We're going to be using several spirit boxes tonight, even though it's going to be a group of 5. So, spirit boxes, if you're unfamiliar with them, this is a way for us to communicate with the dead. They're going to be able to talk to us. How about that?
No.
Yeah. So if you're familiar with the TV shows or any kind of YouTube channel kind of thing with ghost hunting, you know that this is probably just going to be white noise. So it's right. So it's going to sweep through the FM radio stations at a very quick rate. And normally on TV, they only give you the white noise. These are slowed down because none of you are trained to listen to white noise for 2 hours at a time. Yeah, somebody's going to fall asleep, especially with all the histories I'm going to give you. So I have it slowed down to actually allow the radio chatter to come through. So if you hear song lyrics, commercials, DJs, I want you to tell me what you're hearing. So if you hear buy a Kia today or welcome to Charleston, I want to know that you heard buy a Kia today and welcome to Charleston. Okay. So again, because it's a 50-50 shot that they're going to be using the voices coming out of this to be able to convey a message back to us. So normally when I go through these recordings like this, it's normally about a 50-50 shot that I'll find something that's relevant to the space of where we are, a specific number, a name, a happening, an event of some sort, very specific details. So even though I joked around with welcome to Charleston and buy a Kia today, I'm just giving her an example of I want her listening to actual voices coming through. So you will have an earbud in, so you're going to be the only one to hear it. So
me?
Yeah, you.
Oh God.
Yeah, you're fine. So you're going to put one earbud in, that way you can play with the volume back and forth. It's already recording, so it's not recording anything of us, it's just recording the radio sweep. You can't mess with the recording, so play with the volume wherever you're comfortable. If you got to mute it at certain spaces, mute it. It's perfectly fine. The recording will come out even Steven all the way across, just so you know. So whatever you hear out of this guy, even if you don't capture anything, like you're just not getting the gist of how to listen to it, I'm going to go through this recording and give you about 25 more markers tomorrow morning in your analysis. Some of those things will be relevant, some of them won't be. If it's relevant, I'm going to tell you why it's relevant to the space of where we were in, along with the link to verify the information. So, is that fair to everybody? I'm not hiding anything, so that's the whole point of this. So,
is that your friend?
I don't want earbuds back. Sorry.
Is that your friend, Kate? Is that your friend?
Yeah, that's her.
Perfect.
Great.
Her name, what was it? Kristen. Hi, Kristen. Hi. Is everything okay? Is everything okay?
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Yes.
So, we're recording everything anyway, so you're just going to have to go back and follow up on the previous 8 minutes.
Okay.
So you'll be fine. I'm basically handing out ghost hunting devices at this point.
Okay.
My friend Kate here, I don't know if this is friend or relative, but you're basically, she's going to be listening to a spirit box for us all night long. So undo the little twist tie right here, and then your volume button.
Twist it?
It's yours.
If
You can do whatever you want.
Like,
Yep.
put it in my purse and like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hang.
Or if you wanted to put the other earbud in Kristen's ear, you can do that.
Really?
Yeah. So your volume button is right
Would she
here.
hear something different than I hear?
No, she's going to be hearing the exact same thing.
I don't know.
She's listening to it.
Talk to one of us and
No, it's all going to be coming through here. And the earbuds are coming out of it. It's just like wearing earphones to listen to your iPod. Yeah, that's why I said hang on to your question, right?
Sorry.
So, your volume button here is right here. It's a wheel. So,
Crank it all the way up. I have kids.
I'm going to turn it all the way down. You're going to turn it up to your own comfortable level. Just undo the twist tie for your earbuds there. Let's see. Where do I want to go to next? The next spirit box. This one we don't have to listen to. This one's going to give us the words coming through the radio stations all on its own. There's over 36,000 terms inside this dictionary of this particular phone app. It's going to save all of those words to a list. That list is going to have a timestamp next to each and every word that's going to come up. This is a phone app. It is meant for a game and a hoax. 80% of what comes out of here isn't going to mean anything. It's going to be garbage. It's the other 5 to 20% that will be relevant to our space, the same way Kate is listening to her spirit box. So I'm going to clear out last night's list. They actually had 108 terms show up. That's quite a bit for a 2-hour time frame. I don't want to see every word that comes up, Miss Jerry. I will come to you when I want to see the list. All you got to do is hang on to that guy. Easy enough?
Is she going to have to read the list?
No, I'll come up.
Okay.
And kind of check
All
it
right.
out. Let's see. Where do I go to next? I have a whole bag set up for 10 people. I think I'd be ready. You guys kept throwing my numbers off tonight.
It changed.
What changed?
The numbers. Didn't you say you had more people?
Yeah, so I was originally sold out, and
Yeah.
then somebody canceled on my way down here, and then all of a sudden she shows up without you, and I'm like, okay, I can take on my feet.
Wait, how do I think I'm messing it up. Now I'm moving it.
No, it's supposed to move. I set
Really?
it up to move, yeah.
Okay, how do I turn the volume up?
The wheel. Right
That's-
here. It's in there. You got your thumb right on it. Just press real hard. You'll feel it. The wheel's right here.
Oh, now I hear it. Okay, now I hear it.
There you go.
Oh, it's a radio. Oh, it's music. Oh, it's bad music. Okay.
The next device. So, you guys, for those of you that have seen the TV shows, you probably have seen these on TV before, right? So these are pretty simple electromagnetic field meters. So it's going to measure any kind of, cell phone signals or wiring or anything like that. I usually use these to debunk things, and I like to use this one instead because it's just way more accurate. So this is going to measure electromagnetic fields first and foremost. So anything above a 2.5, I want to know what's going on. You're going to be kind of the debunker of things first. We're going to see if it's from a parking meter, is it going erratic, like what is making this thing go off. The second thing that it has is it has an ambient temperature at the very bottom. In the event Wendy finds something on her camera, you and I can debunk it or prove it pretty quickly with the thermometer that's out here at the top. You'll see the ambient temperature all night long at the very bottom. The last thing that it has is it has a REM pod or a motion sensor. So basically, if something gets close to that antenna that I just pulled out, it will go off. I am not touching it right now. The closer it gets, the higher the pitch we're going to get, but there's also an array of color in there that you and I are going to talk about at our next location. So, you're a multifunction person, so
Sounds like I have an important
Multi-purpose.
job.
you do have an important job. We'll basically all be following you. Let's see. How do I want to go about doing this now?
Is it supposed to be just changing like this?
I have it at the slowest sweep as possible, so that way the radio chatter will come through. You'll get the hang of it.
It just sounds like a bunch of white noise with like weird words.
Yeah, that's the point.
Like I'm at like a gothic musical festival and like people are screaming and then it like switches and it's like something else and I'm like, I don't know. I
Kristen,
can't interpret this.
you will. Something will come through loud and clear. Like, it's almost a guarantee.
Am I going to be able to sleep tonight? You're telling me I'm not going to be able to sleep because the spirits are going to follow me home. Do sage we can burn afterwards to like release.
Nope.
Oh God. Okay. Great.
All right. So, Kristen,
Yes.
you're pretty important tonight too. So you should not be able to see me in this little tiny camera that's in there. It should be pretty dark. So kind of keep that in mind. We're going to turn on some lights. So now you should be able to see a whole screen of purple. So we're using light that you cannot see with your own eyes. We need the camera in order to be able to see that light.
Okay.
So the whole point of this camera is hopefully we're going to capture something we would not normally be able to see with our own eyes. So we're going to be filming in specific locations only. And I'm giving you this instead of another spirit box, so that way you can actually help Kate with that, because it seems like she might have a little bit of a struggle, considering how many questions that she has.
I'm hearing
so
a bunch
far.
of weird noises.
And that's what I want you to hear. So it's going to come through loud and clear when you do. So this way you guys can actually work together.
Okay.
And you're basically going to man the camera, and I will help you get the recording started and stopped in certain locations. So this is a downgraded camera. The upgrade of it is in the shop right now. It's a brand new model, and it broke after 2 weeks of use. So I had to send it back, and now I'm waiting a whole other week before I get it back. So in the event that this thing starts to act up, it's been great the past 2 nights. I will kind of work with you on how to make sure it's working properly.
Okay.
Yes, I'm going to keep your hands busy. So, that one's going to go off to you. So those of you with cameras, since there's 2 of them out tonight, people do not like to be filmed themselves, and they don't like their cars to be filmed. So if I do like an Andy's Coming type mentality, like from Toy Story, basically you're playing with a cell phone, and you're going to point yours directly at the ground.
Okay.
So just right at your side. So
And I
yeah.
have like an old school, you know.
Yeah. They're not so much worried about you. It's all about the cameras.
I look like I have a camcorder or
Yeah.
something.
You got it. So, go ghost hunting, let me know what happens. Jerry's in charge. Alright.
Yeah, no.
So, basic gist is I'm going to be taking you to some of the spots that the other tours won't go to, just because they're going to have histories there to Charleston that they might not have anything to show off. So let's talk about why we all started here at Big John's, which was in your guys' text this morning to meet me here on purpose. And Kate's going to make me talk all night, which means I'm probably going to need another bottle of water at some point.
Oh, no! I know, I'm sorry.
You're fine. I'm teasing you.
I have a lot of questions. I believe. I mean,
That's the other
I want
thing.
to know. I'm like, we're here.
If there's a skeptic among this group, I don't want to know who it is. Reason why. If it's Kate.
It's not me. For sure. I believe 100%. It's not me. But
if
just don't
it's
come
Kate,
home with me. Stay here.
I'm going to focus
Away from
on
my
Kate
children.
all night long. If it is her and I know about it, and I'm going to lose focus of what's going on with your other devices. So for everybody's sake, to have fun, keep your skepticism to yourself and have fun. That's the whole point of this. Is that fair?
Yep.
All right, Big John's behind me. This place used to be owned by a football player. His name was Big John Kennedy. He played for the 1947 New York Giants. Whenever I'm telling you the history of a location, I will do my best to slow down on specific keywords that often come through on spirit boxes. We are only using 2 spirit boxes tonight, and I will be writing down notes of things that are happening throughout the night. But I slow down on those keywords because I'm from the north. I talk fast, which is part of the reason why I record everything. Where are you 2 from again?
Michigan.
Michigan. And they're...
The north.
Got it. And I'm from Ohio, they're from PA. We're all together.
We're
Got
all
it.
northern.
So, I know. So hopefully my weird accent does not throw anybody off tonight. I don't think it will. The Southerners say I have an accent. Can you believe that? I can't either. Yeah, but I've been down here for 10 years, and the only thing I picked up was the word y'all and cut on the light and cut off the light. Because you cannot say turn on the light and turn off the light. Yeah, you have to say cut. Otherwise, they have no idea what the hell you mean.
Wow.
Yeah, same thing. The other thing is turn the engine. Or turn the car. Or no, it's what is it? It's something about the key. Crank the car or something. I don't remember what it is. Anyway, Southern crap that I don't pay attention to. So, Big John, back to him. This was his place. He used to sit in the back of the bar, and he would tell the bartender if the cadets coming over from the Citadel, if they were old enough to drink or not. But one night, 2 guys come in. They're not old enough to drink. So he has the bartender throw them out. They leave pretty pissed off. They come back the next night, and they try to steal the cash register from the front of the bar. Because, of course, that's where the cash register is back in those times. John sees what's going on. He slams down his beer. He gets up and just starts beating these guys to a pulp, pounding them into the floor. A couple of gunshots go off. John gets grazed in the neck, and the bullet lands behind him in the wall. John gets up after being shot. He's the only one that's been shot, I'll point out. Goes back to the bar, tells the bartender, get him another beer, get the 2 guys on the floor, and ambulance. So, moral of the story, don't mess with Big John. He'll kick your ass. Second moral is, I tell you that this is a haunted building, and yet nobody died in this building. What's haunting the place is the bullet hole. It's allegedly still here. Even if the new renovation of Big John's that we're now looking at, because this is less than a year old as far as this renovation, if they filled in that bullet hole, which they probably did, that means that Big John's blood is still in this building. People that sit in the front of this building tend to get a little queasy, nauseous, or a headache. this is literally your heated warning. If anybody gets any of those symptoms, because I don't know how paranormal activity is going to affect anybody, I need to know immediately. It is a very, very big deal. So all of you asked about people going home with you or spirits being attached. I'm more worried about your illnesses that could occur during this type of experience. And yes, you just got your eyes big as plates, so we're going to move on.
Okay.
So I won't say that I haven't called the paramedics in the past due to paranormal activity on nice cool nights in the middle of our winters, just so you know. Anyway, let's move on, because Kate just got really, really worried, and she's wearing white pants, and I don't want her to soil them. So
I'm not worried about that.
I'm going to be teasing you all night long, just so
It's
you
okay.
know.
It's totally fine.
I always have one target. You're the target. So
That's totally fine.
big earthquake here in 1886. If you don't know that from any other tour that you've taken in Charleston, now you do. We all talk about it because we're in South Carolina. We're not supposed to have earthquakes. We're supposed to have hurricanes. This building is allegedly where the first death occurred from that earthquake. They say the white mantle that you see in the middle of the building also goes around the front on the East Bay Street side. They say a piece of it broke off, hit somebody in the back of the head and killed them, and that you could see his ghost in the middle of East Bay Street in the middle of the night. Now, I got that information from the previous owner of Big John's, so take that for what it's worth. However, I do say allegedly a lot with that because I don't have any proof. It's just a great segue so Kate's not thinking about getting sick on the tour. Are you guys all ready to go ghost hunting?
Sure.
I'm glad I got smiles out of that one. You guys were very quiet. So, all right, we're going to head up this way.
Okay.
Did you ever actually see a ghost?
I've had enough experiences to be able to do this tour confidently, knowing what I know and knowing what I've seen in the past. So those are more life experiences, like not outside of an investigation. So huddle up over this way.
Okay.
So again, there's a lot that we can discuss. I try not to keep those darker parts of my past outside of the tour. Like I try not to bring it in because everybody comes here to have fun.
Yeah.
So a lot of people come here actually looking to get scared. But again, what I'm here to show you is that, first off, I want everybody to kind of think of like your normal day. How many jerks do you actually meet in a day? Unless they're driving, because then everybody's a jerk,
Yeah.
right? So it's the same thing with the spirit world. These people used to be people. We're going to be talking about actual histories and prominent people around Charleston. We're not going to have any dark entities tonight. So in the event that I feel like we're not welcome in a space, I will move us on pretty quickly, just so you know. And that has happened in certain areas. I mean, you have to imagine, I do this 7 nights a week. Some of these families just don't want to be bothered on certain nights. And I've gotten those messages, and it's like, I take the hint. You know, I'm respectful, and that's the whole point of this. I'm going to show you that ghost hunting is an actual fun thing because it's putting history, like none of you are going to forget any of these stories. I can almost guarantee it, because you're working directly with the people that are part of the story. That's the whole part of this that makes it fun for you guys, but it's the research, because some of you guys are going to be telling me things tonight from those spirit boxes that I have no idea what it means, but I'm going to research it, and that's the fun part for me. I might learn something new about some of these families or people that we're going to be discussing. So let's talk about why we started here. Very good question, and it's appreciated that you have an interest in what I do. So welcome to the Big Red Barn. It's weird that there's no cars in here on a Memorial Day weekend, but we're going to take it. This is where we keep the horses for the carriage rides. They can't hear us, which is why we use earbuds with the spirit boxes like Kate has. So the history here is really simple, and you have to imagine when I have my groups of 10 here, I have to explain 10 more devices a little bit more hands-on. So this is a very brief stop, especially with only 5 of us here. So the history is really simple, and I made it that way on purpose so we can get started right away. This is the same red barn that held horses that used to deliver milk and eggs to the residents of Charleston, 1860s to 1920s. So that's it. So spirit boxes. There's only 2 of you, so Kate, you might want to listen up. This is not a Ouija board. This is not television. Everybody wants to ask the same question when they get a communication device like what the 2 of you are using. That question is normally, is somebody here? And if you hear no, that means somebody's here, right? So we're not going to be asking yes and no questions all night long. We are going to be asking specifics. Even if you are a skeptic among this group, you're looking for some type of paranormal proof. You're not going to get it out of a yes or a no. Like, those are too easy to throw away. So we're going to be asking questions very specific. In a space like this, I would normally give you questions that are going to be something you already know the answer to. For example, if somebody's here, tell me what color the big red barn is, right? Obviously, we're listening and looking for the color red. However, Kate is listening to song lyrics and DJs to convey messages back to us. The word red might not be available for them to grab to be able to spit back to her to let me know that she heard the color red. But fire truck, blood, heart, those three things are specifically red. They might use one of those as an answer, and I would take that as acceptable because it's specific. What color is the big red barn? Blood. I'm good with that. However, most of the night, I'm going to require that there's two happenings, even among one device, to be able to verify what's going on. Another example. Let's say Jerry's word list has the word art on it. That doesn't mean anything over here. But then Kate hears the number 40. Together, Art Faircloth was number 40 on Big John's team. Do you guys see where I'm going with this? Where we're going to have to put the clues together?
Yeah.
So again, it's always going to be about clues, and I will withhold information purposely, so that way everybody here has a genuine experience. I'm not going to tell you everything that I know about these spaces. I'm going to withhold things on purpose. So, with that said, do you have a much better gist of how you're listening to that? Are you getting the gist of, like, have you heard anything yet?
No, it's just really fast.
It's as
really
slow as
fast.
it's as slow as I can make it. Do you see why I have it that slow? Is because to you it's super fast.
Yeah.
For me, it's super slow. So I'm able to pick up on things super quick. And again, you might have to partner up with Kristen, or the two of you can swap. So again, if you're having a struggle with it, your device is probably one of the most active pieces that we have out tonight. So you actually might have to switch, or you might actually have to help her out, which is perfectly fine. Just put the other earbud in, keep your heads knocked together. You'll be good to go. So again, those earbuds are super cheap. I buy them in bulk, so spread them out. Do whatever you got to do. They're yours. I don't want them back. So if she needs to help you, she needs to help you. Your camera, let's start with yours. You're going to try to do two things for us. Well, three things. Technically, you're going to try to be as slow as possible. The slower the movements, the much easier it is to actually try to find something. Okay. I told you not to film people, but I do want you to keep one of us in view at all times. Everybody here paid to be filmed. We're going to be filmed. The reason why is because we're going to be the warmest things out here. You want that difference in temperature. So if there's a metal pipe near me and I'm standing next to it, that array of color is going to make it a lot easier to find the cold spots moving around.
Right.
So if otherwise, if you just have your camera pointed at the wall, it's going to turn red until my hand comes into view. Then the wall will turn blue, my hand will turn yellow.
Okay.
The other thing you're going to try to do, last but not least, is try to keep the sky out to view. I'm sure you've already noticed that that blue dot goes straight to the sky as soon as it's in view. The reason why, there's no surface. It's looking for a surface temperature.
Yeah.
Some of these spaces, that's going to be impossible to do, to keep the sky out. Just do your best.
Okay.
So again, some of these spaces are going to be wide open. There might not be any trees or anything like that. But you're going to notice how that blue dot bounces around.
Okay.
Last but not least, your camera, Kristen. I'm going to have to get this right. Kate and Kristen. I almost called you Kate. So, and I'm usually pretty good with names, even with groups of 10, by the way. But it was much easier because the three of you came really early, so I got those down really fast. So you're going to basically just be a camera person all night. Normally, when I have my larger groups, we're working with lasers on that guy as well. So there's usually a secondary person pointing down lasers, so that way when something passes through the lasers, we have it on film. But we're not going to use the lasers tonight. So the whole point of this tonight is that hopefully we're going to capture a few orbs and have some extra footage of things that might be going on around us that we can't normally see with our own eyes. Okay. So you're still not recording yet, but when I want you to start recording, you're going to hit this button right here. And again, you're still not recording, so you don't have to hold it upright the way you are. Your arm's going to get very tired very fast. I will tell you, go ahead and point it back at me again. I'm going to kind of shield this. We don't use this bottom switch. It's night vision. The reason we don't use that is because it just raises attention from the viewers, and then they start harassing you guys on, like, what's he got you doing now? That kind of thing. So we use lights that they can't see because we can see them in the camera. Okay. So just so you know, if you accidentally turn that on, it's just the bottom switch, turn it back down again. Okay. All right, so Ms. KWAY, we're going to talk about your device at the next location, just because there's a lot that goes into the motion sensor that I have to explain further, but everybody's going to hear it on their regular audio. I say we get away from the history of football players and ponies and go deep dive into the colonial times. What do you think, Jerry? Does that sound much more fun than football players? I hate football. Let's do this. So.
So are they still there? Are there ponies in there now or no? Like real alive ponies,
I don't know if I can hold this camera for 2 hours. Yeah, it's kind of heavy.
How many did we get back in break?
I don't know.
Use the bathroom.
So are we supposed to be hearing things like on the walk or? Yeah? Oh Lord.
Keep it nice and moist back here. Alright, so. I might have to stop getting some podcasts.
Does it matter if like it's quiet and all of a sudden it gets really loud?
Depends on what the messages are that are coming through.
It just gets quiet and it gets really loud.
Are you messing with the
No.
volume? Well, let's get closer to Sherry so she can actually hear what's going on. So, this is the history fun part, probably what she's been waiting for the past 45 minutes. So, first and foremost, this is a space with vehicles in it, so obviously we're going to be very inconspicuous while we're in this location. I normally don't like to get this close to vehicles, so in the event that this person comes out, we're simply going to move out of their way. So, welcome to another beautiful spot in Charleston, by the way. You made it to a parking lot. Congratulations. So, this space used to be something, which is why we're here. Spirit boxes, both of you, I am not going to be giving you questions like what color is George Washington's white horse. You will get the answers from your spirit boxes. This is the first space where I start withholding information purposely. So, this space used to be the Eliza and Charles Pinckney mansion. Their mansion sat in the front of this space. Eliza's garden was lined up with that Five Church restaurant over there and came all the way across. And we are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. Just so everybody has a layout of the land. So who the heck were these people? Eliza and Charles had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Charleses. Do you guys see why I look for secondary clues at this point? We need to know who the hell we're talking to. So, son and a nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. It's a big deal for us, but I hate politics more than everybody here, so we're going to move on. What are you hearing? Your head keeps turning.
Loud.
So turn it down. It's recording.
But it's like quiet when you're talking and then you say something and it's loud.
I'll see what
Like
she's
I'm not
talking
messing
about.
with it. It just gets it's quiet.
And it just gives you something.
Yeah.
Okay. I think you're definitely going to have to help with that. Again, people struggle with it all the time, so it's okay. Just give her an earbud when we start walking around.
Okay.
So, where was I? Signers of the Constitution hate politics, right? Did I say that? Cool.
Yes.
All right. So, Eliza and Charles got married when Eliza was pretty young, according to today's standards, not the colonial times that she came from. So if we're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, Kate's not going to hear numbers like 12 and 14. It's going to be according to today's standards. And I will tell you that she would have been considered an old maid during colonial times at the time she got married. The only reason I bring this up is because Charles, her husband, was over double her age when they married. There's a big age gap back then, big age gap now. So just so everybody kind of knows what those numbers could possibly be. I'm not going to tell you what they are. But she married Charles because her father, over in England, thought he was dying. He's trying to bring all of his kids home so he could see them one more time. Eliza did not believe that he was dying, so she stayed put. This is 1744. You didn't get married in 1744 for a green card or citizenship. We're not even a country yet. So she marries this guy out of love, and even after Charles's death, she did remain a widow. Yes, he was over double her age. He definitely went first. But anyway, Dad got better. Eliza's correct. Father starts sending her gifts from England to this space. One of those gifts happened to be the plant seeds of indigo. You guys have been in town for at least an hour that I know of. Indigo is all over town. You see Indigo Hotel, Indigo Inn, all kinds of things. But indigo is a plant that makes blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. None of us are wearing it tonight. Are you wearing blue jeans? Okay, you're wearing indigo. Perfect. I normally have at least one example. So, when she gets this indigo seed, she has no idea what to do with it. She has to learn from her slaves how to keep it cultivated in our weird temperatures. It's not always hot down here, regardless of popular belief. Once she figures it out, she moves it to a plantation. They have many back then. She moves, and this one's in Mount Pleasant. She calls her father up and says, "Hey, Dad, rice plantations are going downhill. We can make a killing with this indigo." We now have an international businesswoman during colonial times. Something absolutely unheard of for those times. That's her business. Let's get into the weird stuff, because that's why you guys are all here. Eliza was the second wife named Eliza from Charles, back to back, 5 months apart. First wife Eliza dies in January of 1744. He marries the Eliza who planted the indigo in May of 1744. So 5 months after his first wife's death, he marries another Eliza. So it's really smart or really stupid. Ironically, both Elizas have a maiden name that starts with the letter L. You can ask which Eliza we're talking to by asking what her maiden name is. So now we have 3 Charleses and 2 Elizas. The mansion's not here anymore. You can ask what happened to the mansion. If we get an answer, then hopefully you can ask what year that happened. I'm giving you a clue that yes, it was a tragedy. Hopefully we get this very specific year that actually occurred. The kids, I already told you that there's 1 child. There are more. You can ask how many and what their names are, but that's it. The reason why is because there's a tragedy among those children, and if we poke the bear, all activity will stop. Have you seen anything come up, any numbers at all? Okay, so your device normally has some type of reading at this point. So
0.1.
Yeah, anything above 2.5 is really what I'm looking for here. And then we're just going to escalate it because I don't want to be writing down a trillion numbers that are all just kind of up and down, up and down, up and down. We just want to get the escalation of how high it's actually going to go. So Eliza's death is where she's really open about things. We can ask her how she died, how old she was, where she's buried, and what U.S. president was a pallbearer at her funeral. Notice these are all very specific questions, non-yes and no questions. If you go rogue and ask your own questions, keep in mind, first off, that we want to get things we can actually prove. Non-yes or no questions, very specific. But your answers, anybody here can be asking questions or even thinking or focusing on one specific question, whatever makes you comfortable. We only have 2 spirit boxes running tonight. One we can hear, one we cannot. Keep in mind, we also have 3 points of audio. 2 videos that are recording audio, plus the one on my bag. If you're asking questions, those answers can come up in those video audios as regular electronic voice phenomenon, not just words coming out of a spirit box. So we literally have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we have 6 pieces of communication tonight. So, not to mention, we're going to talk more about your device very specifically. So, go ahead and Kristen, start your recording on yours. So tap that button on the top pretty hard until it starts blinking. There you go. We'll start blinking here in a second. Perfect. So you're up and running. That's good to go. So, Jerry, are you going to chill right here, you think? You going to hang out?
I'm going to keep walking.
You're going to keep walking? Well, basically, we're going to kind of spread out within the confines of this lot. Just don't go in between vehicles, and of course, no filming of vehicles. And just kind of, the cameras just stay in motion. That's the whole point.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely the 2 of you, I want you working together so that way you can both hear what's going on and kind of see if between the 2 of you, you can actually capture what's actually happening and what messages we're getting out of it. But KWAY, I want you to stay with me. So, Wendy, why don't you and Jerry kind of start hustling around and seeing what's going on. And I'll show you how to get to that word list and you can help her out. Do you need some help up here?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Wait a minute.
Here.
Wait.
She's tired.
It's okay. Probably had a long vacation.
A long day.
So let me take a look at your word list before you part ways.
Yeah.
So how I'm going to do this, Wendy, just so you know, you can help her out. The little white box next to the word will bring us all the words that we've gotten so far. So I'm just going to take a quick peek at them. We have the word throat that came up. I told you Big John got shot in the neck. We have the word marry, as in getting married. That was at 9:31, so that was about 17 minutes ago. And the word foreigner, so that's a little bit of a stretch, but I am excited, very excited about the word throat coming up. It also says naval. I'm gonna see if Big John ever served in the Navy. That would be very interesting if he did. So again, I don't know everything, so these are things I have to look up. Give her an earbud. Let's see if we can get you guessing.
I keep getting the word holy.
Holy?
Holy.
Okay.
I don't know if it means like holy jeans or holy like...
Probably
religion?
more religious
Yeah.
at this point. They were a very religious family. So just so you guys don't have to butt heads.
Okay, so I guess we're going to walk around.
There you go. All right.
Okay.
Let's get you going here. This is fun and exciting.
And I'm supposed to keep somebody in the picture.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
You don't want me in the picture.
Well, all you can see is your shape. But that helps, I guess, identify the cold spots. My cold spots seem to be windows because of air conditioning. You see any words coming up?
Straighten.
Strengthen.
Oh, there's a number of words, but not like he showed.
Let's go over this way because this was the mansion house this way.
If I could have just sat while I finally did, I wouldn't.
It's really cold right here.
It's cold.
It's cold right here. It's showing up. I don't know if that means something happened here or not, but
It's cold, yeah, as you walk over this way.
no, I mean on here it's showing as cold. Some cold spots. Okay. I don't know. Let's walk through this way.
Their mansion was here, he said.
Yeah.
And what was over here toward the church?
In the back, the garden stretched across the back. So there's kind of cold spots on the ground, just certain areas. Nothing that's really moving. Could just be shadows, I don't know.
What are we supposed to figure out? Dates or something?
Well, we can ask questions like, when did you die? Or how did you die? I wonder if there was a fire.
What they do because they have to turn down.
Everything would have been wood. Towards the garden. Any words popping up or
Strengthen, just strengthen.
again?
Yeah, still.
Huh. Oh.
Like you said, fire is a good thing.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, let's... Some kind of a ship. Some kind of a ship. Not really getting...
How's your word list coming? Any crazy words coming up?
No,
Strengthen.
Still
That's
on
been
strength?
there,
Yeah, it's been
yeah.
there on a minute. Okay.
yeah, it's been there.
Rachel, let's see what's going on here.
We're asking her lots of questions. Just basic stuff. I'm like, do you want the live? Like, I was
Eliza, when did you die? I don't think she can hear me. I don't know if I'm supposed to ask questions and it relates over to them or not.
Didn't he say they had 2 kids? Or
They had at least 1 kid, and others. Actually, I just read about them the other day. I think one of the plantations, they're responsible for the Magnolia plantation, I believe, that I said is the popular one. But they charge for every little thing. Like there's a $29 entrance fee, but then if you want to do the tram, it's another $10. And yeah, I'm like, let's just go see Boone Hall and see anything around them.
I think I'm just too tired tonight to really.
Yeah.
Climbing up and down in that Jeep.
Oh my gosh. I'm having such a hard time. You know what we should have got at Walmart is a little step stool. You know?
Oh, I didn't know I was doing this.
What?
This tonight.
Oh, yeah, I know. Oh, kind.
Yeah, I'm kind. Maybe he's kind. Maybe they're kind.
Or maybe Eliza's saying that's kind of you to ask. I don't know.
Giving me strength. That's what I need, strength.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wish I knew what we were doing.
1 more hour. I know. You getting anything, Quay?
Yeah.
What are you getting?
Readings. He said, I had it go up to 13 something over there, and he goes, okay, I want to know anytime it goes above 13. Well, over there I got 14 something, and just now I got 18.4. But
Okay.
he's talking with them, so I don't want to interrupt. And then it'll go off so when the numbers go up, that means something. And also whenever it beeps for no reason, because see, it's from my heat.
Yeah.
But like, if something sets it off, he said, hit it with my thumb, it resets it, and then if it does it again without me moving, then there's something there. And it did it over there.
Anything crazy going on over there?
No,
Yeah.
I'm not, but she went up to...
This was up to 14
Okay.
point something over there, and
Nice.
then over here it was 18.4.
Okay.
But I wasn't getting anything.
And I'm going to explain what those readings are in comparison to some things in your house. Like once they get the whole group back together again. And now we have some green flickering. That's obviously not from you. Reset. Eliza, you want to show us what your favorite color is?
It's 13.8.
Now would that... Would,
Eliza, we want to see what your favorite color is. Just get close to the little metal stick there on that box. You know how this works. It's not like I'm not here 7 nights a week. You want to show me what your favorite color is, please?
you getting anything? Is there anything coming up, Mom?
She's still on Sophie. What's that one?
12.2.
Four children. Are you getting anything?
Sophie, I heard her.
Yeah, it's still
Wonder
on
who
Sophie.
Sophie
I
is.
have no idea who the hell Sophie is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give the girls another minute now that I showed them a little bit more how to use that, and then I'll get you guys all the answers before I move on to the next space.
Okay.
I also want to see if she's getting any higher readings. Her readings are actually pretty decent tonight. She's got some decent numbers coming out of there. I'm not seeing any motion coming out of the antenna, which is weird, because we normally get a lot of motion out of this space too.
Huh.
The weekend and all the commotion, sometimes things slow down for me. I hate to say weekends are like the worst time to take my tours, but normally a regular weekend, Friday and Saturday, it's very tame. It's the Sunday through Thursday where things kind of lighten up a little bit. I just heard a color. What was that color you saw? Green. Eliza, make it go to purple. Get closer to it. I want to see if I can call out purple over here, and she doesn't know what color I called out. You see why I do it that way?
Yeah.
Eliza, can you make that box go to purple? Even a blue would work.
Yeah.
Purple. Show us what color indigo was.
Funny, I was just reading a little bit about that family. Are they responsible for Magnolia Plantation? Is that the...
No, that is not that.
One of the plantations I thought they bought or they...
So I'm sure that they were involved with Magnolia in some way, shape, or form, because I want to say that one of the children actually had to buy some kind of piece of machinery for that particular plantation to bring it into South Carolina, like it was a big deal. That's unnecessary.
Yeah.
Okay.
You getting
Got
something?
the word map as we're sitting here talking about different parts of the city.
Oh.
Yeah.
Or talking about a plantation.
Show me where the gold is.
I know, right? Where's the money, Eliza? Where's the money at? We know you buried it somewhere. All right, what are you guys getting now? Nothing at all.
Floor.
Floor?
Yeah. You know, I feel like maybe that's where your bathroom she asked to be. She said 4. I don't want to talk about her kids. Oh my God.
You're poking the bear. And that's probably why we're not getting a whole lot. Because she's very faithful. She's a very prominent English woman.
So boring.
Very proper.
Tell me about your girlfriend.
Do you realize Eliza's not in the box and she keeps talking to her like she's on the phone?
Yeah. It's going to come through.
All right, let's get everybody some answers. Are you getting any other numbers?
She's mad about this rooftop thing over here right here. She doesn't like that.
No other numbers? All right, we're going to go back up to that corner where the girls were just at. So we'll kind of see what goes on up there. And I'm going to get you guys to that. Kristen, I don't know what you do to this girl, but the Kate I met was very calm. Like, she was kind of shy, like meeting up with
I'm
us.
just trying to bond with, this woman. I would get mad, wouldn't you, if they built the parking lot and your mansion used to be here, and then now there's this nice little rooftop thing over there.
So the funny thing is one of the things, because my wife and I want to obviously expand my business here. And of course, we want a retail shop to be able to sell the equipment, books, and have a haunted hotel above it to be able to have like an Airbnb where you can get a kit and explore the haunted location.
Yeah.
We've actually looked into this space particularly, so we can put like a facade of what the mansion used to look like and have the retail and hotel behind it. But to do the archaeological dig here that they've never done is going to only run me about $20 million.
Whew.
So please refer your friends to buy more tickets. I would.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's about
What
$20
do you mean
million.
an archaeological dig? Like what is that?
So welcome to Charleston, where they always dig things up, so that way we can learn more about history. So in this space, we probably have artifacts from the Pinckneys, not to mention the slaves that were living in the back of the space. They've never done a dig on the land that you're standing on right now.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's
It's
why.
like dirt. Why wouldn't they? It's like there's nothing here.
But it's owned by a parking lot company. Not to mention, archaeologists are not cheap. One archaeologist will probably charge about $750,000 just to dig this space up. So in a space this big, you probably need at least 8. Yes, I did my research, and Jerry's like, yes, you did. So but I would need about 8 of them to be able to do this space properly in justice. Not to mention, I'd have to fight with the
If
city.
she has any rich relatives still alive that can help you,
She doesn't. I've met some of them. The descendants all come to see me, which is
Yeah.
funny. So whenever I bring out the tablet and show you guys picture pages, we can stop your videos, by the way. So, Krista, we definitely don't want to lose your footage, so hit that button. When it hits your square, it'll turn to a circle and relax.
Hello, everybody.
Krista, you can start your video here.
Whew, it's really hot in here. We don't have a breeze in this alley. Huh.
It might be short, it might be grappler, all I'm hearing. I don't know.
Really a place to sit. You can lean back.
Yes.
All right, so what did you two hear along the way? Anything?
Baby, just a baby. Like, right there. I think they're in the spot.
Okay.
I think I made them there. You know, I need a certain kind of ghost. Not every ghost is for me or spirit. So I probably offended them all. Except for maybe one out there that's my ghost. You know,
Ghost for you.
it's like my partner.
Let me see your word list.
I'm just seeing cold, I think right along the brick where it's dirt. It's not
we did the
moving.
word cousin along the way here. Explanation showed up as we were kind of coming in, so really nothing super specific, which still makes sense to me.
This person here, there is with us. Could she be referring to me as far as NH? Could she take up?
It depends on who you brought with you. So if you have a cousin that passed,
They're not passed, but I've been taking care of her, so.
I would normally
She was
say,
supposed to come and she wouldn't come.
oh, fair enough. Very interesting.
Okay.
All right, so let's talk about where we are. So well, first off, I'll tell you, like, we're next to a hotel, so we're not going to spend a lot of time here, which is another reason why we use earbuds. That way we're not disturbing the guests, like somebody's in that room right now. So when we crossed that last crosswalk coming down, that's where the original Charlestown Wall used to be. It went up Cumberland Street and was across the street on the East Bay. Just so you guys know, like, Charleston used to be called Charlestown. It was a walled city. It was fortified. One of the few in the country at the time. So this is one of the first streets we ever had. The reason why I was asking for names is because I have the full list of residents of every person that's ever lived out here. It's not a lengthy list. It's only about 2 pages long. Right, let these guys pass right through the middle. How you doing, guys? How's it going? I did good. So that list, again, only 2 to 5 people lived here at any given time. So it wasn't like there was dozens of houses here. I get the same names every 6 to 7 weeks. Those names are Benjamin and John. Now, unfortunately for you, we're in like week 1 or 2 of that 6 to 7 week long loop. So I wasn't expecting Benjamin or John, but somebody heard the name Ben the other night. So again, I can't pinpoint when these names are going to pop up other than that 6 to 7 week window. So Benjamin and John both lived here in 1801. I have nothing significant about Benjamin and John or 1801. I have dug and dug and dug and have found absolutely nothing other than the fact that he given the same names. So here's why I think it's happening. You're standing on Belgian blocks. So basically, you would probably call them cobblestones, right? From where you guys are from. But there's actual technical terms for different types of cobblestones. Belgian blocks are said to be made straight of granite. Now, my initial thought was granite comes straight from the earth, just like limestone. Limestone is a material that is supposed to stir up paranormal activity because it comes straight from the earth. However, I found, as I did a little bit more science research on granite is not supposed to hold on to any kind of EMF at all. No electromagnetic fields at all. It's just, there's nothing there. So do me a favor, put your device on the ground on top of a brick and let me know as high as it'll go. You're just going to kind of keep an eye on it. So,
I don't have the antenna out
nope,
with that.
I don't want any motion out of it. I'm just worried about the EMF from the granite. So, with that said, we're going to let that run for just a few minutes as I tell you the rest of the history of this location, because I'm studying this space for the next podcast and blog episode because of what's actually occurring here. So, They did do an archaeological dig underneath these bricks. They found some of these people's clothing and tools and silverware and that kind of thing. Classified them as lower class people. It makes sense because across the street on East Bay Street, those buildings wouldn't have been there. The smell of low tide would be coming through here all the time. The rich people of Charleston are not going to put up with that. If you've been down to the Battery, you've noticed that the houses are skinny in the front or angled a certain way. It's that way for a specific reason. Are you getting any readings?
Just
Like
point the word
one.
work and dancing and work.
Okay, I'm going to have to write
Really
these down.
clear, which everything else is not clear.
Very
So
interesting. But yeah, keep going. You're on the right track. We'll kind of see if anything ties into work and dancing.
Saloon.
Yeah. We're going to see if some of their jobs come up because on that list of names, their occupations are also there. And every once in a while, I'll get like a common occupation among more than one person. So I'm not going to tell you what those occupations are, but we'll see if it pops up.
You don't want me to flip that over and that way.
Nope. No motion. I'm more worried about the red screen readings. So
Let's say like 0.1.
yeah, so that's going to be now in the earth. Now, just we'll say 3 or 4 nights ago, we actually had it all the way up to an 11.7.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it went a little high. So with the archaeological digging, I told you the houses down at the Battery are skinny in the front and go long back. There's 2 reasons for that. So the first reason is you were taxed based on how much street size your house actually took. So the skinnier your house, the less taxes you're going to pay. So that's part of the reason. The other reason is it helps keep the smell of low tide out. You notice the front porch is on the side of the house with a front door on it. We call those piazzas down here. So it keeps the smell of low tide out. You would open up your second-story window, allow the cold breeze to come in from the water. Cold air drops, heat rises. It's old-school air conditioning. It's just circulating through the house. So when you guys take tours of your beautiful mansions down there, look at the windows and how they're laid out versus facing the water. Good job. Look at you on it. I love it. So with that said, I love like this area, and it just intrigues the hell out of me. Now, before people lived here, the Freemasons had a Masonic lodge here, hence the name Lodge Alley. So we do get terms wrapped around the Freemasons. Obviously Freemason, Mason, Brick, and we'll also get the term Illuminati. I've had it 6 times last year alone and twice this year so far. These are things I can't make up. Now, one thing I want to point out is they always came up on a red spirit box that KAIT's using. First off, who's talking about the Illuminati on the radio? Really, honestly.
Yeah.
The second reason is why am I only hearing it in this space? How you
They
doing,
said,
boss? You
and
doing
so-
pretty good.
How you guys doing?
Good.
Good.
and so it's been a while. He said.
It's been a while.
And so it's been a while.
Yes, because the Freemasons were first. It's interesting. So I want to say the Freemasons were down in 1790, roughly. Very interesting. But again, I lollygag here on purpose just because, again, I'm waiting for the recording to be able to give us anything. Do you have any other terms come up? Ooh, I like actress. That's actually looking for our next case. That's pretty cool. So here's what's going to happen from here. No readings at all. You can guys pick it up. If you don't have any.
Put
Okay.
3, put
Yeah,
2.
we don't have those. Those are natural, so no ratings at all. It's almost a good thing that it's irregular. This is what I'm looking for. So far, it's been very irregular. The next place we're going to is another alley. I can't take you all the way through it, however, like what we're doing here. Why? Because I've been booted out because you guys joined the annoying tour guide.
Broken, you know, and the music, and we wait.
So the other night, somebody else heard and you know, like exactly that almost exact phrase. Wow. All right, so we had maybe on the way here, you had work. I'm gonna write this down real quick. Dancing. You know. What was the other ones?
Tell me a regular, you know.
And I just said the word irregular about your readings.
Yeah.
Interesting indeed. So, again, the next space we're going to go to, I can't take you all the way through it because it is residential at the end, and it's not fair for my teams of 10 to be working around other 20 to 60 people in that area. So I will tell you on how I got booted out of there, which is always the fun part of the story. Everybody wants to know. And it is actually relevant to why we go to the spaces after that. So what's going to happen is we're going to walk out of this alley. Both videos, you're going to stop your videos as we exit. So as we exit the alley, you'll stop your videos because we're cutting through a neighborhood to get to the next space.
Okay.
So again, definitely keep your earbud in because we don't want to cause any noise either. Sorry, Clay, but your device will be out of commission for the next 2 stops. There's going to be no point because we're going to be on major streets. The parking meters will make it go off. The word actress showed up, which is interesting. I'm excited about that.
There is a little the movement on the cold. Oh, you know what it is? I think it's the rod. Yep, sorry.
What?
Her rod.
She has an antenna up.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm seeing it there. I'm like,
So it does get pretty dark down there. So if you give you a flashlight, you want the whole flashlight going, you good? Okay. All right, let's go up to the next alley. You guys let me know what you're hearing. You can cut that off as we exit. So we
okay.
don't run it until we
Sure.
God, it's so weird now. Like, now I hear it. It's weird.
Told you get better as the night went on.
It's like 106, don't need anybody.
Don't meet anybody?
Don't need anybody.
Oh, don't meet anybody.
Don't need anybody.
Hmm. Come on. I guess
You're on the right side, it's upside down. So stop your video. Very discreetly, so you almost want to keep that thing lowered, Kristen, so that way it just looks like you're holding it. And same thing with your phone, just kind of casually be holding the phone. The reason why is because a lot of tours that flip through here and they didn't get me filmed. So, this is Philadelphia Alley. So what this alley used to be was where the duels used to occur. It had the nickname Duelers Alley. So we all tell the story of one specific duel because it actually occurred, and we can actually prove it. I obviously tell this a whole lot differently than the other tours will because you're ghost hunting. You guys need very specific details. So again, that's why I tell this a lot differently than what you're going to hear on another tour if you decide to take with me. So let's get into it. There's a doctor that moves down here from Rhode Island. Wow, this street is busy. I'm just not used to the Sundays being like this, so it's just super weird. Yeah, I know.
People want to be out.
I always forget about that kind of thing just because I'm usually sold out. So, like, I don't pay attention to, like, oh, I'm busy because of the holiday weekend. It's like, no, I'm just always busy. Like, I've been like this since January. Like, it's just crazy for me all the time. I'm the weird guy that everybody wants to hang out, Jerry. So, so doctor, Rhode Island. Are you with me? Cool. So, Kate's, like, staring down the alley, like, waiting for it.
They keep telling me breaking away. I've heard it
Breaking
twice.
away?
Breaking away.
Huh.
Probably because I've broken away from the speech. I haven't, like, really got the damn story started. He was down here from Rhode Island. Why? Because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with this cash. The attorney thinks the doctor is just after her money. So he tells her, get rid of the doctor. So to prove that he's not after Amanda's money, he moves to Charleston. As he's coming into town, the coachman that was bringing him in set him up to be robbed and killed. So it wasn't a very good start to his
Am I
stay in
supposed to
Charleston.
interject you with the words I'm hearing? All that you want?
I would say hang on to them so I
Okay.
can get through it. How about that? Is that fair? Because you're getting the gist of it now, and you're gonna.
It's weird. It's so weird.
But it's fun. That's the point.
It's just weird.
So, somebody walking by sees what's going on, where the doctor's about to be killed, and his name is Ralph Isaacs. Now I'm going to stop on Ralph for a second because Ralph has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Rhode Island, Ralph Isaacs. The initials RI will show up here all the time, but we need that secondary clue because I just gave you the two main characters of the story, the doctor and Ralph. So we need to know who it belongs to. But anyway, Ralph says, dude, you don't want to stay here. This guy's got a gunman inside. I know him, and he's going to try to kill you for your cash. But I got some friends at 59 Church Street. You can stay there, and you'll be safe. The doctor takes him up on the offer, and the two become friends. The doctor lives at 59 Church Street, and his practice starts to take off the more time he spends here. Amanda's moving down soon because now he's proving his point that he wasn't just after her money. He becomes known as the Whistling Doctor. Every haunted city you will ever visit in the future has a cliched whistling ghost. I can almost guarantee it. Ours is a doctor, and it actually works here. And I'm going to get into why that works here. So, him and Ralph go see plays together, but they cannot sit next to each other. Why? Because the doctor makes more money. He gets better seats. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. So, they're talking about William III one night on their way home after seeing the play, and they are arguing over the new actress that was in town. We had the word actress that showed up on Jerry's word list. So it was almost kind of like a preamp of where we were going to be. The doctor thought she was great. Ralph, not so much. It gets a little uglier when Ralph starts insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island, and then they go their separate ways. Ralph is from here. He puts an ad in the newspaper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor.
Oh.
Yeah, the doctor sees the ad and rebuttals with, we're going to go to Diller's Alley. We're going to settle this. Somebody's going to die. So they come down, they take their 10 paces, they turn. The doctor points his gun in the air, and he shoots his one bullet. He did not want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage and bravery to show up to the fight. But Ralph has his one shot, and he puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. So the doctor didn't die either. He drops to the ground, his friends pick him up, carry him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later after refusing medical treatment. You have to remember, this guy's a doctor.
Yeah.
He probably tried to bleed it out himself. So, the campfire ghost story part of this is that as you walk through the alley, you can actually hear the whistles. That's the whole point of it. Us being over here, we will get things on KAIT Spirit Box of songs with whistling in it. We will also, I will tell you, I used to take my teams all the way down to the end. It was all about listening to the voice recorder, listening for those whistles. What I want everybody to keep in mind is if you're going to go down there on your own, turn on your voice recorders on your phones, listen to the recording later. But I want you to keep in mind that all the locals know the story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street or Queen Street on the other side, we all throw a whistle down the alley every single night. So we actually end at the next corner. My garage is right there. I have to pass the alley. I throw a whistle every single night. When my youngest daughter's on the floor, we actually race to see who's going to throw the whistle first. So it's kind of a little game we play. But again, just kind of keep that in mind. It's not going to be very clear. But let's get into why I got booted out, because that's why everybody's waiting for, especially Kristen. She was all about it earlier. Getting Nick in trouble is always good fun, right? The alley didn't always come all the way through. It was blocked off on this Cumberland Street side. So the bricks on the other side of this alley are older. They were laid first. Those bricks are sun-dried bricks from slave children. We have full handprint and fingerprint swipes of some of those bricks at the end. What I would always tell my guests, I would always show them off, but we're going to be quick and swift about it. We're not going to hang out, and we're just going to, I'm literally going to point, and we're going to keep walking. And one night, everybody wants to put an EMF meter or a spirit box or something near it to see if they get any activity. I treat that brick the same way I do a grave. That kid is not staring at that brick in the afterlife. November 26th of 2020, my entire group of 10 wanted to huddle around that one brick with the handprints in it, and it's outside a gentleman's dining room window. His beautiful mansion that he just purchased at the end of this alley. He was not very happy with us. He came out screaming. My daughter thought it was great because Dad's getting yelled at, and we moved on. The next day was November 27th of 2020. That was Thanksgiving. I worked in retail for over 20 years. It was my first Thanksgiving off, and I couldn't tell you how long. I own the business. I'm going to run it how I want to. So the next day, November 28th, I get a phone call from the tourism office asking me to reroute my tour or to basically go down halfway, which is what we're allowed to do. I decided it's not very fair to my team to try to investigate around 20 to 60 people. I'm going to reroute. So I tell my team we're going to wing it and see what happens. First off, I didn't even believe the story. Like, I didn't want to tell a pirate story. It just wasn't my thing. I'm a vampire guy, so pirates were not my thing. And I told them we're just going to wing it. Before we leave this space, somebody hears the name Anne on a spirit box. I did not tell them we were going to be discussing female pirate Anne Bonny. We get there, and somebody else hears the number 300. I have no idea what 300 means, but I research it the next day. We were there on November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was on November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial.
Huh.
There was a reason why I was basically booted out in the succession that I was. So there's a reason why I take you guys to the same spaces every single night, waiting for that activity. We are going to have one last stop in between our pirate investigation. What I will tell you is that the last stop is a hit or miss. We're rolling the dice to see if Anne and Mary are going to be there at the exact same time that we are going to be. Again, hit or miss. We're either going to have a lot of activity or nothing at all. Now that you're actually getting used to your device, my hope is that we're going to have lots of going on because we only have 2 spirit boxes running tonight. So, let's go up to the next location, continue listening to your spirit boxes. Those of you filming, if you want to continue filming, by all means do so, or you can give your hands a break and shut them off, but you're definitely going to need them at that last stop.
Okay.
So, let's go up to the next corner. KWAY?
Okay. Should I turn my Wiki Madoogie on?
You can.
It's purple.
I want to wait till you're not walking to see if that's true, just because it keeps going straight to green.
It went to purple.
Did it go to purple? That's interesting.
When I first turned it on.
Okay.
Back there.
I took the bag off so I can actually breathe a little bit. It's our last stop, so we're going to make a big deal out of this one. If you want to sit if you want to sit it on my bag, you can. I was talking about your sweater.
Oh,
That way you don't have to carry it. I'm going to keep you working. Don't worry. So, we're going to be talking first about that little tiny building over there with the crosses on it. First off, I want to point out that those are not crosses. Those are earthquake bolts. What the hell are earthquake bolts? If we have another earthquake like what we did in 1886, those things are turnbuckles. They say you can turn them, and it'll basically straighten the building back up for any damage that may have been caused by the earthquake. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
The only reason I bring these up is because it's the first set of earthquake bolts that the city put in. Why? Because this is the oldest government building in South Carolina.
Oh.
This was finished in 1713. We are here because this building is what I call a familiar. So we've talked about apparitions and residual and intelligent. This one's a little bit different. We are here because Anne Bonny actually came to Charleston at the same time that this building was being constructed. It is something familiar to her, something. We don't have many buildings this old. Just kind of keep that in mind. But I do like to give you a little bit of history on the building just because it's super fun. So, this building held gunpowder for 7 different wars and a rebellion. The wall we talked about earlier at Lodge, when we crossed over the street to Lodge Alley, and I talked about the walls, where that garage is now is where the wall stood. It went up past the powder magazine and started going south behind me towards the battery. It locks the gunpowder magazine into the corner of the walls. I know history can be long and boring. I'm going to wake you up here real quick with a crazy story. So, I'm going to call yawns out every time. So, it does that on purpose because it's 3 blocks away from the water and the furthest that they can make it away from pirate ships or Revolutionary War ships. So if the cannonball is going to attempt to try to attack the gunpowder magazine, it's going to have a hard time, first off, if it can even reach this far, to get through the 35-inch thick walls.
Oh, wow.
If it goes through, we're going to pretend that it does, and blows up the gunpowder. There's sand in the roof that was put there during its construction, and it's designed to go up in the air with the explosion and fall to put out the fire of the gunpowder. It's another great idea that doesn't work. We had another powder magazine closer to the battery. It did get hit. The sand went up, but the building burned to the ground. It doesn't exist. This one's just never been attacked. It's now a museum. If you ever need to get out of our heat or our cold, spend the $5 and learn a few things about our wars. So it's a very interesting building, even on the inside, because it is a groin vaulted ceiling. What does that mean? It's basically built of 8 pillars on the outside, and they all meet in the middle, like a groin. So again, it's all very intricate when you're inside. They will give you and it's small in there, so it's just 30 minutes, to learn about those things. And I'm not an advocate for the building, I just find it fascinating. So, 1703 to 1713, 10 years to make this building. Does that sound like our government? Small building?
Yeah.
10 years?
Yep.
No, not at all.
Oh,
Not
come
our
on.
government. But in the middle of that whole construction, 1708 is where the story begins. You're going to have to follow me. There's a lot of twists, and I talk fast on this one. I'll get the bag closer so you guys don't miss out. The voice recorder's on the bag. So, 1708, young lady moves here. Her name is Anne Cormack. She moves here from Ireland. She's with her father and his mistress. The mistress is her mother. Is everybody with me so far?
Yep.
Got it? Cool.
Yep.
So, the 3 of them are running away from his wife. How pissed was she? You got to leave the country. That's all I'm saying. So, they land in Georgetown, just north of here, in between us and Myrtle Beach. Dad buys a plantation. Mom dies pretty quickly. That means he has to send young Anne down here to sell anything from the plantation to keep things afloat. Now, Anne back home in Ireland was kind of a badass. They say she actually killed one of her servants when she was only 10 or 12 years old by putting a knife to the belly. So, I mean, she's kind of a hardcore chick. Keep that mentality of this young lady through the whole story, because it'll make a whole lot more sense. We're going to fast forward. This building's done in 1713. Pirates are coming through town in 1715. Anne is about 16 or 17 years old at this time. She's stoked that pirates are coming through town, and she falls in love pretty quickly. Guy number 1. Yes, I'm going to keep tally. So, guy number 1 turns out to be James Bonny. You can already see where this one's going. Dad doesn't approve. He's a filthy pirate. So they run away to Jamaica. They get married. Anne Cormack becomes Anne Bonny, the most famous female pirate of the Golden Age, and her career started right where you're standing. So when she gets there, this guy is not the swashbuckling, rum-drinking Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for. This guy is a privateer. What does that mean? He's a spy for the British, and he's a coward. So she didn't want this guy. She falls in love again a few years later. This guy's name is John Rackham, a.k.a. Calico Jack. We're on guy number 2. So I told you I'd keep tally, and I lost track already. Calico Jack, that's his nickname. He has his own ship. Anne wants to be part of it. You can't put a girl on a pirate ship.
Right.
Why? They're bad luck. He makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and hide your gender, you can be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy back home in Ireland to keep her away from his wife. So she's like, whatever, I'm a pirate, let's go. So, being a female in his quarters, let's put 2 and 2 together. We're all adults here. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You cannot have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Like, it's just not going to work out. So, he drops her off in Cuba. These are friends of mine. They'll help you have this baby. Come back later. We'll figure it out. She goes and has the baby, returns with no baby. We have no idea what happened to this child. She's also dressed like a female. This makes Jack pretty angry. While she was away, Jack captured another pirate crew and they're down below deck. Anne's going to go flirting because that's what Anne does. Guy number 3. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack just captured. So now we have 2 females, dressed like males, on the same ship. Absolutely unheard of. This young lady's name is Mary Reed. Is your antenna up all the way? Yeah. I just want to make sure like we have an actual reading. So Mary Reed actually joins the crew. Anne and Mary become friends, possibly lovers. We'll never know for certain. But the British, they find out where they're at. They send their entire fleet of ships to take down one pirate ship that's owned by Calico Jack. Anne and Mary are the only 2 not drunk enough to come up and fight with their 1-bullet flintlocks, and they probably don't know how to use the cannons to truly fight back. So they're probably going to get taken, which they do. As they're being arrested, Anne looks at her beau and her captain, Calico Jack, and says, "You should have fought like a man instead of being hanged like a dog." So the word dog is very prominent on spirit boxes. The judge, his name is Nicholas as well, so if you hear my name here, it's usually relevant to one of 3 Nicholases, me being one of them. I'll explain if it shows up in the other clues. So, his name is Nicholas. He wants to see the 2 men that fought back so valiantly. That was a good one. That was yellow. He wants to see the 2 men by themselves after he's already tried.
61.2.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Where's your cell phone?
In here.
Okay.
Why?
Well, your cell phone wouldn't go up that high anyway. Because your cell phone will give off a little pulse, but it'll only go to like maybe 12 or 14. 61. Holy cow.
I keep hearing love somebody.
Yeah, you're going to hear a lot of love stuff. Should I stop and explain what these readings are so you guys have a gist of why I'm so excited? Would that make sense to everybody? Maybe I should do
Probably.
that. Yeah, because you're all looking at me like, wow, what the hell's going on, Nick? So,
We're gonna blow up.
yeah, pretty much.
okay.
61. Wow. So, your television set. Think of that back
whoa,
home.
Whoa.
Oh, you heard love somebody as well.
Love
Your-
somebody. Whoa, whoa.
Right? Can't spell whoa.
I'm waiting.
Your television
You'd like to
set has a
enlighten me,
bunch of
that'd be
wires
great. I love a
behind
good
it.
drama.
Love a good drama. TV set has a bunch of wires behind it. If you put that device behind it, it's going to read anywhere between 40 to 60 milligauss. That's a pretty steady reading. Your microwave running on high with the door shut and you're standing next to it with that device will go up to about 150 to 170 milligauss. The highest reading I've ever seen from that device showed up at the Pinckney Mansion site about 2 months ago. I was standing next to the gentleman explaining it just like I was to you earlier, and it went all the way to 214.
Wow.
Oh my.
That is dangerous, dangerous levels. I actually had to step away because I have epilepsy. Those kind of readings will influence my brain. I have to step away and keep contact with whoever's using it to make sure that they're okay, and I actually waited about 10 minutes. We only saw it for about maybe a second and a half, but it did stay there long enough for both of us to be able to verify, and I looked at him, and I said, now I need to explain why that went that high. It's the highest I've ever seen that device go. Craziness.
And how can it affect you?
So just think of electrical shock. Same principle.
Okay. Okay.
Currents running through my veins and blood system doesn't work with my brain well. So I cannot be like near high-tech computers all the time. Like my office is pretty high-tech because of all the gear, but I make sure I limit my hours of work. I can't go into my wife's office. She works for Best Buy. Guess how many computers are in there? So, and it's a little tiny cubby hole. So yeah, those will affect me pretty badly. Headaches to the point where eyes are watering. I can't think. I can barely speak. Like it gets bad. So it's pretty bad. I'm not making this stuff up for the sake of fear. It's a matter of like, this is my life. Like, I have to be careful. So where was I in this story? Nicholas Laws, right? He wants to see the 2 ladies. So they go in front of the judge, and they reveal that they're female. They reveal their gender, hoping to save themselves. The judge doesn't care. They're still pirates. They're still going to hang them. So they scream out, at the same time, we plead our bellies. Reset. We plead our bellies. What does that mean? They're both claiming to be pregnant. Why? Because you cannot hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail and delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in Charlestown area with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne, brings her back home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4 has 4 kids and dies at the age of 84.
Wow.
Yes, very abrupt ending. I know. What happens to Mary Reed, you might think. Mary Reed died. You heard 5?
Bye.
Oh, bye.
Bye.
Oh.
Like, goodbye.
Huh.
Bye.
Yeah, we're not leaving yet.
As soon as you said that name, I was like, bye.
Mary Read dies a year later in 1721 from
Like
whatever
this.
pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. What was the last one?
Like this.
Like this. You can only imagine that it's probably bumpy and scurvious and gross and nasty. So
Yeah.
use your imaginations on how a pirate died in a Jamaican jail. I only left 2 things out of this story that you can ask questions with that I can actually prove. Everything else is fair game. You can ask whatever the hell you want to. But the 2 things that I left out on purpose are the name of Anne Bonny's parents, that's the father and his mistress, and the name of Calico Jack's ship. So if you want to ask those 2 questions with your spirit boxes, you guys can do that. Because really the only thing that I can prove, if you get direct answers, it's going to be direct to you or whatever else we're getting on there. We will get clues wrapped around pirates. We will still get things from Philadelphia Alley. That one loves to bleed over this far away. And we still might get things over from Sue Howard Hardy. We never know what's actually going to show up here. Your motion sensor is going to be hopefully off the hook. That's probably the highest reading, that's 61 milligauss on your red screen, I've ever seen in this location. There's nothing near you to make it go off that way. Even if it was your cell phone's only going to go up to about a 15, maybe 18 max. Because it goes out in pulses, and it's going to be super fast. You saw 61. Like, that was crazy. Before I set everybody free to use their devices, I'm going to kind of tell you why I give the heated warning that I do at the very beginning. Back in September, much cooler night than this, by the way. I brought my team back here. The kid next to me he goes white as a ghost. He's about to drop like a wet noodle. So I have to pick him up by his armpit, catch him from, stopping hitting his head. His boyfriend picks him up on the other side. We get him over to that brick wall over there, which is where we're going to end, so everybody knows. Get him a bottle of water. He's feeling better. I then tell him the story I just told you. It's important to know that they have no idea the Anne Bonny story. I then tell the story. I send everybody out with the devices. They pull me aside, him and the boyfriend. We got to tell you something. I'm like, what's going on? We are 2 transgender males, meaning I had 2 females dressed as males, just like Anne and Mary in the story, on my tour. And it made sense as to why one of them about passed out the minute we walked in. I'm a good writer. I'm trained to be a good writer, but I can't make this shit up. Like, there's just no way. So that's why I'm able to tell this story every single night with confidence, because, again, there's a reason why I tell these things, and I give those warnings. It's not for show. Psychics and mediums normally will not make it past the Pinkley Mansion site. So it's usually somebody that will come up to me right away after that heated warning and say, I do get headaches from that kind of thing, because they already know. And I basically keep them with me the entire time at the Pinkley Mansion site. So, I've called EMTs and paramedics in the past, and it's not from our heat or our cold. It's usually on a nice, decent night. So, let's spread out. Those of you with video cameras, you can go to the front of the powder magazine, which means you have to exit the lot and make a left. The only thing I ask is you don't interrupt the other tours. If somebody's there, kind of hold off. Definitely make sure your night vision is off, so you're good to go right now. I can't see, obviously, the bright green light. Wow, your thing's going nuts. I'm actually going to go hang out by the wall. There's a ledge over there where we can sit for those of you that don't want to wander around. But again, the closer we get to that powder magazine, a familiar place, hopefully the better evidence we're going to capture. So let's go see what we can find over there by the powder.
Yeah, much better over here. get a good picture of that sign. Would you hold that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I can't. Do I need to turn my flash on or off? I don't know. I just can't. Stop on it. I can't get a nice. Okay. Of course, I had to come see this. I'm not getting any readings here. So our meals were, well, 14 ounces apiece by the time we split and shit.
There's some places, like we passed up right next to Lodge Alley is Magnolias. You're gonna drop $100 a plate.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Charleston for you, dear. That's a lot. There's a lot of places like that around.
I was good like that.
I don't need it.
No on food.
Yeah, no thanks. I'll cook at home and make myself a good steak all on my own for less than $20. You know, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna taste me $100 to give me a plate and take it back.
And like I said, I'm not away splitting with someone
Yeah.
when you know you're going
Not
to
at
get a
all.
lot of food.
Yeah, I got kids. I totally understand. Any motion coming out of yours?
Yeah.
All right, Kate, it's the start of the show. What's going on?
I got nothing.
Nothing. How's your camera work going? It freeze up?
Yeah, reset again.
Okay. It's okay. Just gotta hold it from stiff. You got a lot of footage though, so we're getting a lot of footage. It's a lot for this camera because again, like it freeze up. The other one I can usually leave running like the thermal when they use it, and we'll get a good hour to an hour and 40 minutes out of it.
It's yellow.
If the two of you wanted to go over back to where the cemetery is, and go get some footage over there if you want, that's completely up to you. We're trying to see if maybe we get something like that two-hour party store. Just don't interrupt any souls. So just make sure everything's
Show me blue.
Show me blue.
Give me blue.
What's blue gonna do?
It's in the middle. So it means that they
What's
don't.
the highest?
Red.
I want to see red.